and welcome to this live broadcast of News Watch, this 30th day of September 2020. Thank you so much for joining us for the latest updates. My name is Tonyo Mondi and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's begin with our top story tonight. Now, the Kenya National Union of Nurses, Non-Secretary General Seth Panyako, has called off the Kenyatta National Hospital strike and asked workers who are on a go-slow to return to work. Speaking during a press briefing at the KNH, Panyako said the decision to halt the strike had been informed by a court order issued by the Labour Court on Tuesday. At the same time, he said the union would handle the matter at the court level, promising to give a way forward on the matter after an application filed by KNH is heard and determined. Our reporter Teresia Njenga begins her bulletin tonight.
The Kenyatta National Hospital health workers have heeded to the court order suspending their strike after KMPDU Secretary General Chibanzi Mwachonda called off the strike. On 27th of this month, KNH health workers, including doctors, nurses and members of other unions outside the health profession, went on strike, accusing the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, of failing to implement a dispute resolution concerning the recategorization of their salaries. Mwachonda has, however, said that the strike will resume if their grievances are not addressed.
We have suspended, as we have said, but that does not mean that in 3 weeks, 4 weeks time, which if there is no payment, we shall be where? Tarudi hapa. The month of November first tutakuwa wapi? Hapa. Na hiyo sasa tutaenda mpaka wapi? Visho. Itakuwa kuna tena kwenda kotini.
On his part, the Kenya National Union of Nurses Secretary General Seth Panyako told the workers to abide by the law and obey court orders, as the court has not stopped the strike but has just suspended it. At the same time, he said the union would handle the matter at court level, promising to give a way forward on the matter after the application filed by the Kenyatta National Hospital is heard and determined.
Tumepata court orders ambazo zinasema kwamba tusimamishe mkomo, na huu mkomo usimamishwe mpaka kesi isikizwe na kuamuliwa. Na sasa unajua, mimi nimefanya kazi hapa, nimekuwa chief shop steward, na nyinyi mnajua tulienda kotini tukapewa pesa mingi sana. Si ni ukweli? If we don't respect court orders, we'll have nowhere we are going. That I can tell you. Isipokuwa mimi ni mtumwa. Huu ni uamuzi umefanywa na viongozi wetu, na tumesema kwamba tutaheshimu mahakama, tutapikana ndani ya mahakama, tutawaruhusu mrudi kazi na mtupe nafasi ya kuchapana wapi? Mahakama.
In 2012, the State Corporation Advisory Committee evaluated all parastatals in the country, including referral hospitals such as KNH, which they upgraded from level 3C to 7A, consequently elevating all the 7,000 employees to a different salary scale. The Salaries and Remuneration Commission has, however, distanced itself from the Kenyatta National Hospital wars, saying the workers had already benefited from salaries increase for the review cycle of 2017-2018 and 2020-2021. SRC has dismissed pay review demands by Kenyatta National Hospital workers as misguided, saying the demands were not anchored on 5 core principles guiding job grading and salary structures. The unions have asked their workers to go back to work as they await court ruling on the matter, but have promised to be back after 30 days if their demands are not met. For Newswatch, I'm Teresia Njenga.
Deputy President William Ruto slammed his critics who had accused him of absconding his duties after missing the national COVID-19 conference on Monday. Speaking at his current residence, where he held a meeting with a delegation of women in business from Nairobi County, the DP said at no point had he failed to serve the country as the principal assistant of the president. This comes after a section of leaders faulted the DP over his absence from the COVID-19 meeting. Alice Dana reports.
After coming under sharp criticism for skipping the much-publicized national conference on COVID-19 that was chaired by President Uhuru Kenyatta on Monday, Deputy President William Ruto now wants those purporting to supervise him to focus on their own work of serving the people.
Wajibu wangu ulisikia wapi?
Speaking at his current home in Nairobi on Wednesday, Ruto said he knows his work, adding that at no time has he failed to execute any work that has been given to him.
Hata jana mimi nasikia watu wengi wanaanza kunipigia makelele ati wanasema ati sijatimiza wajibu wangu kama naibu wa rais wa kikatiba. Mimi nataka niwaeleze, mimi hakuna kazi rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya amenipatia na sijatimiza.
On Tuesday, Jubilee Vice Chairman David Morathe claimed that Ruto currently has no job, adding that his roles have since been taken over by Interior CS Fred Matiang'i.
Hajafanya.
Deputy President William Ruto has, however, dismissed those poking holes at his work as busybodies, saying his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta, has not complained about his performance.
He has been on record saying he has no work, that he's not assigned work. You know, his work was taken over by Matiang'i, because Matiang'i is the minister coordinating other ministers. So the things he used to do nowadays are done by Matiang'i.
Mimi najua ile kazi nimepatiwa kikatiba. Rais ambaye ni mkubwa yangu hajalalamika kwamba kuna kazi alinipatia sikufanya. Sasa wewe unalalamika kama nani? Na hiyo maneno unasema ya kwamba sijatimiza wajibu wangu ulisikia wapi?
At the same time, Dr. Ruto noted that the government will continue supporting women in starting and running their own businesses as part of the grand plan to empowering them. This, he noted, will be realized through the creation of safe spaces for women, broadening their access to credit and market opportunities, and boosting their participation in decision at all levels.
Tunataka kuwasaidia kila mtu apate mahali ya kujishikilia, kila mtu apate vile anaweza kusaidika, kwa sababu tunataka kuishi katika mahali ambapo hakuna mtu analala njaa.
Nakuru Senator Susan Kihika, her nominated counterpart Millicent Omanga, MPs Nixon Korir of Langata, Kimani Ngunjiri of Bahati, and former Starehe MP Margaret Wanjiru were among leaders who were present at Ruto's meeting with a delegation of women in business from Nairobi County.
Uongozi ambao dictation ya huo uongozi, mwelekeo ya huo uongozi, zile mambo hiyo uongozi inapanga, hiyo yote inakuwa dictated na watu wa grassroots. That is the leadership we want.
Chief Justice Maraga ameambia Uhuru Kenyatta adissolve nini? Parliament. Na hata mimi nasimama hapa leo mbele yenu nikisema amechelewa. Inafaa angekuwa amedissolve last week. Turudi kwa elections, mupige kura, na turudi ndani.
When women have good life, all of us we have good life. Sina mna hiyo. Hata sasa ile shida tuko naye na vita ile tuko naye hapa is change of generation.
Sisi kina mama wa Nairobi hatuna kabila, kabila yetu ni hasoli yetu, kabila yetu ni ule umaskini yenye tunataka kuangamiza.
For Hope TV News Watch, I'm Alice Diana.
Meanwhile, Deputy President William Ruto's move to skip the national COVID-19 conference in Nairobi on Monday has continued to elicit mixed reactions across the political divide. The National Budget and Appropriation Committee Chair, who is also Kieni MP KEGA, wants DP Ruto to be penalized for neglecting his duties. He says the issue cannot be taken lightly, and as the chairman of the Budget Committee, KEGA says he is at liberty to review Ruto's budget for allegedly neglecting his duties. Ruto's allies have, however, rubbished KEGA's sentiments and warned him against plans to reduce budgetary allocations to the DP's office.
That none else but the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya would shy off an event that was meant to give Kenyans hope, an event that was going to discuss measures on COVID and how to move the country forward. He may disregard or disrespect the president, no problem. That is the interpersonal relations. But the relationship between the Deputy President and the people of Kenya should be the same as it were from the onset when he said that he's going to serve Kenyans. And in a function that Kenyans are being served, it is only incumbent upon him that he goes there, stands up with his principles, and makes sure that he gives a message of hope to Kenyans.
He decided to give it a wide berth. There is absolutely no reason why the Deputy President will skip a state event. It can only be sabotage on his side. So we want to tell him, and I want to say this as a chairman of budget, we cannot be appropriating funds to your office, yet you are not ready to discharge the responsibility that has been given to you by the Constitution of assisting and deputizing the President. There is no way a President can be performing a national duty, but you, in your own advice or in your own estimation, you don't come to support the President, but you decide to go and do other things.
Devoted mother, a role model, and a
Away from that now, normal business in Kitui town was earlier Wednesday paralyzed for hours as Kitui County government workers staged a peaceful demonstration to protest over delayed salaries. The aggrieved employees marched from the Kitui Stadium to the Central Business District to Governor Charity Ngilu's office to demand answers. The employees said they have suffered enough and the county administration must intervene immediately to avoid industrial action. Grace Ongoi has this report.
The aggrieved employees stemming from 7 unionizable bodies marched from the Kitui Stadium, chanting Haki Yetu and lifting placards well written of the misdeed that had been done to them by the county government. The workers say the administration had delayed salaries for 3 months now. The explanation for the delayed salary is due to a 3-month budget impasse that has existed between the county executive and county assembly. A situation brought after Governor Charity Ngilu rejected the budget estimates, which the assembly approved on June 30th, 2020, claiming extensive amendments as opposed to the 1% threshold. Speaking during the demonstrations, the Kitui Workers Union KWU Secretary General Benjamin Munyalo said the pull and push between the two arms of the county government has brought undeserved suffering to the workers in the last 3 months. They have not received their salary, further lamenting that the workers have been unable to meet their families' basic needs.
Tangu mwezi wa 7 mnajua tukupata mshahara. Mwezi wa 8, mwezi wa 9 mpaka wa leo tukupata mshahara. Wafanyakazi wameuliza swali, wanauliza kama tumefanya kazi na miezi imeisha, manyumba imefungwa. Wafanyakazi wengine pia hata mabibi wametoroka. Niambia na jamaa mwingine alisema kwamba sasa niko kwa shida. Bibi yangu ameenda, kwa vile nikimwelezea ananiambia nimepeleka pesa kwa ile nyumba nyingine. Ndio leo tukaamua, Your Excellency the Governor plus the top leadership, hao wafanyakazi wako mbele yako. Wamekosea nini kwa county government ya Kitui kama hatujapata mishahara? Na ni nini imeleta shida?
Quelling the melee, Governor Ngilu assured the protesting workers that the two arms of government had reached a consensus bringing to an end the budget stalemate and assured the workers that their salaries would reflect in their respective accounts in a week's time.
Once it is approved by the county assembly, it goes for gazettement. Once it is gazetted, it will be put in the IFMIS. So I have reason to believe, working around the clock, by Tuesday, Wednesday, you should have your 3-month salaries in your account.
Grace Ongoi, Hope TV News Watch.
No failure. I've said you have agreed, unless you are pessimist.
On to COVID-19 situation now. The country has recorded 151 new coronavirus cases in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of infections in the country to 38,529. Health CS Dr. Rashid Aman said a sample size of 2,927 was analyzed, bringing the cumulative test done so far to 547,946. Dr. Aman said 168 patients have recovered from the virus in the last 24 hours, with 105 coming from the home-based care program, while 63 were discharged from various hospitals across the country. The total number of recoveries now stands at 24,908. At the same time, 4 more patients have succumbed to the virus, bringing the total number of fatalities to 711. The 151 cases have been distributed across the counties of Nairobi with 32, Nakuru 24, Kisumu 22, Garissa 14, Mombasa 10, and Meru 8, Kajiado 8, Kisii 6, Bomet 5, Kiambu 5, Siaya 3, Uasin Gishu 2, Kilifi 2, West Pokot 2, Marsabit 2, Murang'a 2, while Kakamega, Bungoma, Nyamira, and Kitui had 1 case each. Moving on, the government has put in place various measures that will help counter and prevent terrorism activities in the country. Minister of Interior Chief Administrative Secretary Hussein Dado said following 3 terrorism attacks in the country, the government has made many milestones in countering the vice, noting that more will be achieved if the efforts put in place will be sustained countrywide. Speaking during the launch of the Nairobi County Action Plan, CAP, to prevent and counter violent extremism in the county of Nairobi, the CS said the government is determined to prevent and counter the attacks to safeguard its citizenry and urged all Kenyans to join hands and fight all acts of violent extremism. The CAP will offer Nairobi County's stakeholders an immediate action plan to protect communities and citizens from violent extremism.
Counterterrorism is not a preserve of security agencies. Our realization through experience indicates that war against radicalization and terrorism cannot be won through law enforcement alone. And Kenya now has the opportunity to participate in preventing violent extremism that threatens our social and economic fabric through county action plans. Nairobi County Action Plan adopts national prevention and countering violent extremism holistic approach, where every member of the society has a role to play and own the process. That's very important, because if you own the process, you will live it. You get us any little information on security, don't take it as a rumor, please pass it on. And look around for the telltale signs. Because these days, at least with Nyumba Kumi, you can easily know if a few youth cannot be accounted for in a certain area. These are some of the measures that look simple, but they are the most achievable targets.
Well, that story takes us to a short commercial break on News Watch. We still have more lined up for you. Keep it Hope TV.
Are you looking to settle your family in an affordable, clean and serene environment? Look no further than Garden of Joy in Machakos by Optiven. The project strategically sits between the Mua and Koma Hills, providing you with beautiful landscapes, fresh air and a much-needed break from the hustle and bustle of the city. The Garden of Joy also comes with a jogging track, a meditation park and a children's play area, making it the perfect location to set up your countryside home. Get your value-added plot at only 1.295 million shillings. We also have flexible payment options of up to 12 months. Call us today on 0702 8310 83 or visit www.optivan.co.ke.
Only God can turn a mess into a message.
I have a boy on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I'm still preaching on the pulpit.
Amen. Niliona mguu ya nyuma inakuja tu kunikanyaga, imenilenga tu kwa tumbo. Nikaitana tu Jesus.
I got tired of working with the X-ray papers, and one day I just woke up and decided to burn them.
A test into a testimony.
The whole community didn't want to hear that anybody is born again. Excommunicated straight.
Bila Yesu hakuna njia.
Join Sharon Naitore Wangenye on Testify.
Katika hiyo harakati hiyo spirit ikakemewa, mimi nimeona Yesu Kristo namna hii. Kwa msalaba. Opa. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Every Thursday at 8 p.m. for a moment to grow your faith some more.
Welcome back to News Watch. Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi has cautioned Kenyans against getting into the trap of politics of deceit ahead of the 2022 general election. He said that politicians should sell their policies to Kenyans rather than using the language of tokenism and handouts. The ANC leader has faulted the Jubilee wing of government led by the Deputy President, saying it's unacceptable for the DP to distance himself from the operations and functionality of the government under President Uhuru Kenyatta. Mudavadi, who has declared his interest in the presidency come 2022, says there is need to restore moral fabric within the society, especially in the political class, claiming that a section of politicians have already started beating drum beats of hate and ethnicity even before the real campaign time kicks off. Mudavadi was speaking at the Friends International Center, FIC Quakers Church along Gong Road, where he met a section of the clergy from the Friends Quakers Church. And to Mombasa County now, drivers in Mombasa County have protested the new National Transport and Safety Authority NTSA rules that require young drivers to wait for 2 years before proceeding to another driving class. Addressing the media during the protest outside NTSA offices in Mombasa, the youth have termed the new rules as draconian, made to frustrate the youth from getting meaningful employment as drivers. They say they've been denied licenses, renewals or upgrading their classes of driving owing to the age limit that 18-year-olds cannot obtain a commercial driving license, limiting them to driving small personal cars only. The Deputy National Chair for Driving School Owners Association, John Magaya, said NTSA has overstepped its mandate of ensuring road safety and instead is abusing its powers and instituting a new system to frustrate Kenyan drivers.
The system imeletwa ambayo inaondoa vijana kwa system, wale ambao wako na already driving licenses hawezi kuaccess their licenses. Wengine wametaka kurenew license asiko kwa system. Hatukutaka system ambayo ina frustrate the citizens of this country. We wanted a system ambayo inaboresha maisha ya vijana. The agenda 4 of the president of this country ni vijana waweze kupata ajira. Ukimwambia hawezi kufanya class B ambayo ni gari kubwa, gari ndogo ni za watu personal, hii gari kubwa hawezi kufanya. 2, hiyo system imeletwa inatoa, kuna vijana wako na licenses ambaye ni license ya kitambo, akienda kuangalia kwa system haiko, na wako na all the documents, ako na interim, ako na receipts za Kenya Revenue Authority, and they cannot access their driving licenses.
Tunawapatia miezi miwili wakae chini. Failure too, we have no option but to go to court. Tutaenda kotini. Manake hii nchi imekuwa nchi ya mpate mpatae. Makazi hakuna, COVID balaa, sasa vijana hawezi endesha magari, kisa na maana systems sijui ziko vipi, upgrading na pesa wanachukua. Mbona M-Pesa ukituma, mbona wakatai wakasema system iko chini, unapatiwa mpaka receipt. Lakini ikifika unaambiwa bwana huko kwa system tena. Hii ni balaa na itakuwa janga. Na yote hii inachangia insecurity katika nchi yetu. Ndio utapata vijana wadogo kama hawa wanaenda Al-Shabaab. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Ni kweli.
The TAVETA County First Lady Stella Samboja has presided over the launch of the first ever cancer center in the county that will be domiciled at the Moi County Referral Hospital in Voi. TAVETA County government has joined forces with Empower, County First Ladies Association, Roche, International Cancer Institute, Women for Cancer, and will employ this collaboration to advance discourse on prevention and early diagnosis. The fully equipped Empower Cancer Clinic is expected to play a pivotal role in detection and management of cancer. On her part, Kajiado County First Lady Edna Lenku urged residents to embrace the new technology and visit hospitals for regular checkups and treatment.
Mahali tumefika, hatuna njia nyingine ila kushikilia teknolojia ambayo imekuja, ambayo partners wameileta, wasayansi wameileta, kwamba sasa kansa lazima utibiwe ukifika hospitalini. Na kwa hayo, kwa sababu nimekuja na nimeshuhudia TAVETA imeweka msingi wa kansa hapa, mimi sina budi kusema kwamba kwa dadangu Stella, Kesho ukiona dada zangu kutoka Kajiado County wakifika hapa, uwapokee na uwasaidie, kwa sababu tunahitaji msaada wa county hii.
Janga la saratani ni janga ambalo limekuwa likisababisha vifo vingi sana. Kati ya zile sababu kubwa zinazoleta maafa kila siku katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Na tunaambiwa ya kwamba kupimwa na kujulikana kwamba uko na saratani haifai kuwa mwisho wa maisha. Lakini tukiangalia katika counties zetu nyingi imekuwa kama sentensi ya mwisho wa maisha kwa sababu ya zile changamoto.
Kuja kuwatangazia ugonjwa wa saratani, hata kama ni gani, ya tumbo, ya throat, ya matiti, cervical, yote yanatibiwa. Zaidi ni kwamba tukiangalia ama tukienda kupimwa mapema, ukipatikana ukiwa tu umeanza, huo ugonjwa utatibiwa. Na tusingoje mpaka tugonjeke.
Ni kusema kuwa hospitali sio mahali pa kwenda wakati tu ambapo uko mgonjwa. Ni vizuri kutembelea hospitali. Ndio maana inaitwa health center. Uje ujue hali yako ya afya. Kwa mfano, ukijua uko na ugonjwa wa sukari mapema, uko na ugonjwa wa damu, blood pressure mapema, kuna vitu mingi ambayo inaweza kudhibitiwa ikipatikana mapema, kama vile tu saratani.
To Kisumu County now, all the 6 occupants of a 5-story building that collapsed in Mambole Estate in Kisumu last night have been rescued. The building that is still under construction came crumbling last night at around midnight. Speaking at the scene of the incident, Kisumu County Commissioner Josephine Ouko said 3 people had been rescued from the rubble and taken to hospital with serious injuries, with one of them in critical condition. The remaining who were trapped were said to be occupants of the first floor. Investigations to ascertain the cause of the collapse are underway as police launch a manhunt for the parties involved in its construction.
We have brought in the experts to come and do the investigation so that they can report. But as it is, we can see the building has come down, meaning that there was ineptitude, and we are not going to leave this issue like this. We are going to take legal action against anybody who floated the rules or who did not adhere to the set out guideline.
And in Nakuru County, Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui has warned that his government will not entertain any criminals who purport to be Matatu stakeholders. His warning follows violent protests that were witnessed in Nakuru town on Monday by Matatu operators who are protesting Governor Kinyanjui's decision to kick them out of the town centre to 3 different locations on the outskirts of the town. The county boss has faulted the Matatu operators, saying their approach was wrong as the county government had made the relocation plans clear to them. Addressing the press in Nakuru, Kinyanjui said they are open to dialogue with Matatu stakeholders on the way forward following relocation of Matatu stages, adding that the county government has an elaborate plan to construct modern bus stages in designated areas with 100 million shillings set aside for the project. On Tuesday, over 50 SACCOs in Nakuru County resolved to withdraw their vehicles from the roads in Nakuru town until Kinyanjui allows them back to town or rehabilitates the current termini, which are in deplorable states.
I wish to confirm that the planning department or mandate is a responsibility of the county. And the planning is made in cognizance of the population trends, commercial activities, future growth plans of the town, and also in consultation with the business people and the community at large. And therefore, our decisions at any time and at all times has been in consultations specifically with the larger stakeholder in Nakuru town. The Matatu operators are part of the transport sector stakeholders. They are not the only stakeholders. The users and the business people and the county are also the other users. And we cannot do that which makes one arm happy, yet constrains our development and growth. We had called for a meeting 2 weeks ago with a view to make consultations and also known some of the programs that we have. And they did not want to participate, and for that reason the meeting did not end conclusively.
All right, Newswatch takes another short break. We'll be back with business news. Don't go too far.
Join John Carson every weekday as he takes us on a journey through the Bible.
Whoever shall seek to save his life, if you go back to living for yourself, you're going to lose it. But whoever shall lose his life, give up his life for my sake, he shall preserve it.
Enjoy interesting, knowledge-packed, yet simple teachings through his humor and in-depth understanding of God's Word.
The last people that tried to put God in a box, literally, he rose again. He wouldn't stay in their compartment. If God was small enough for me to figure out, he wouldn't be big enough for me to worship.
Tune in to Hope TV for John Carson every 10 p.m., 4 a.m., and 10 a.m. weekdays on Hope TV, where you look and live. Hope TV brings you a moment of intensive worship. And intensive Word of God.
When you study the Word of God, God is growing you.
When we come before our Father in prayer,
ladies and gentlemen, you cannot fake it. Prayer takes on a new dimension.
Catch Hope Devotion every Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
Tunakuletea burudani safi kutoka wanamuziki wa nyimbo za sifa na ibada, mahojiano ya moja kwa moja na mafunzo ya hali ya juu.
Dhamira ya mtu ikifa anaweza fanya anything because kile kinanitofautisha na mbuzi ni dhamira.
There was this time niliambia Mungu, mimi samahani Mungu, lakini naona umenifanya mimi kuwa daraja. Sitaki.
Ni mahali pa uchipuzi na ulezi wa vipaji.
Mwimbaji anaweza itisha akitaka, lakini unajua hiyo ni sauti
hajanunua.
Hujanunua, hiyo ni umebarikiwa nayo. So hiyo unaweza mupeane aidha bure ama, lakini hii pande nyingine sisi tupe invest, ni investment ona.
Tunabeba mwili, lakini mimi sikujua hii ni maagano nafanya.
Ungana naye Mwalimu Shaban Brima kila Ijumaa saa 2 jioni na marudio kila Jumamosi saa 10 jioni.
Machozi ya furaha nishangaze Baba, ushuhuda wangu watambua wewe ni Mungu.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Now, motorbike taxi riders or border riders in the country will now be using the Taxi mobile app to get customers after the Ministry of ICT approved a mobile app to ease business. The country has over 1.2 million motorbike taxi operators across the country, and with the number continuing to rise, they will now be able to offer services online in a more organized manner and also make money across the board. Speaking during the launch of the app in Nairobi, ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru said the border is an important sector in the country's economy, assuring the riders that the government will work together with them in the areas of issuing loans, manufacturing, and even the assembly of motorbikes.
Hii sekta yenu is 210 billion shillings. 200 yani kila mwezi mnakunywa petrol 7.2 billion. Wengine wanaona bodaboda, they are not even sure whether how they fit in the economy. Yet they are so important in the economy, and I'm very happy that startups even from the rest of the world are coming here, and they are being able to put together business opportunities that the bodabodas can now leverage and be able to move forward. We have seen our economy now is beginning to grow, is beginning to change, and one of the factors is these investments we are seeing. Last month we saw even growth in terms of the amount of money being remitted back into the country. We had more, 10% more than the previous year when there was even no COVID. And you will see from the President's visit to Paris, so much is going on in terms of investment. So we're very happy that Taxi is being able to come to Kenya and invest, but at the same time they have given shares to the bodabodas. So they are not only going to make money themselves, but they are doing that also with the bodabodas. So we're very happy, and we will continue to support them as government in all aspects.
And Kenya is facing milk deficit as production drops due to erratic weather patterns, exorbitant feed production cost and outdated husbandry practices. Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization KALRO Dairy Valley Chain expert Dr. Tobias Onyango said dairy farmers in the country produce milk that does not meet the national demand. He spoke during the ongoing 2-week training workshop for livestock extension officers drawn from Kajiado and TAVETA counties at the Kitui Agricultural Training Center. The decline in milk production has prompted KALRO to embark on capacity building programs on climate-smart perspectives in dairy farming. Peter Mbugwa, livestock officer from Kajiado Central Sub-County, lamented that lack of feed has hampered milk production in the country, adding that the pastoralist nature of some farmers forced them to migrate to Machakos or Tanzania in search of pasture for their livestock.
The trainings that we have received from the KALRO scientists, mainly on the aspect of feeding, animal feeding, which constitutes a bigger portion, contributes 70% in milk production, and incorporated together with the AI services that the county is promoting. So we have good animal genetics, and also when we incorporate the good feeding regimes or feed formulations for our farmers, it's going to increase the milk productivity.
Mahitaji ya ng'ombe hayawezi kutoshelezwa na nyasi ambao tuko nayo, tunahitaji kuongeza kitu zaidi. Na hapa tulijifunza mambo ya kwamba kutengeneza concentrate. Mkulima mwenyewe ajitengenezee concentrate, na ukiangalia concentrate ambayo mkulima amejitengenezea na ile anaenda kununua kwa agrovet, bei ni tofauti kabisa.
In our training here, we are trying to encourage them to mix and mingle and see if the milk which is excess in one part of the country actually reaches the other part. This now we leave it to the management of the countries and also the management of the government, so that this viability of the material of the milk which is in excess in one point of the county to reach the other countries is out there. In our training, we are looking at the the dairy cow, we are looking at the dairy goat, and we are looking at the camels. So any animal that gives milk, we are trying to encourage our officers here to encourage farmers to produce that milk, consume for the family use, and then so take it to the market. But among other things that we also do during our training is how to add value to the milk that is produced. We have a team here which is training on milk value addition, how the milk can be handled hygienically well, then processed and marketed to the communities which are interested in that.
KCB Bank Kenya has rolled out a wide range of financial solutions for learning institutions as they prepare for reopening following closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. KCB Group CEO and MD Joshua Igara at the launch noted that education sector is a key driver to the country's economic agenda, and the bank will play a catalytic role in supporting them through this phase. Both public and private schools can now access loan facilities to support and meet the reopening guidelines set by the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health. The proposition will provide support for the institutions, teachers and other support staff, students and other actors in the school value chain like parents and suppliers.
You're welcome. Bank of India.
So I strongly believe that you played an extremely important part in our 100% transition.
Thank you.
In empowering the 50 learners. And I want to thank you for, I'm like Oliver Twist, on behalf of the poor children. You have offered another 100 scholarships.
Correct.
Our problem will be to identify.
Correct.
I shall not delegate.
Thank you, sir.
Because unfortunately, when you delegate,
correct,
we then bring our brothers and sisters. And yet, when you go to the slums and other areas, you really find the poor people. And I also believe that within the private sector, we may find some students who will come to join us again, especially if their means of livelihood has collapsed.
You know, across all the 40,000+ schools, providing resources, supporting the teachers. I like what you say, even just basic things like signage. Yeah, because unfortunately, and you're right, we don't all understand that Corona is not something that comes and goes. So how do children come in? How do they leave? Where will the masks come from? Yeah, because these are our children. Yes. And without that, they can't be able to. Now, I know that we're investing in sanitization, we're investing in washing hands in schools, ablution facilities. So that for private schools, I think we have a fantastic partnership that will work. Yeah, we are committing resources. We can provide loans for schools up to 200 million, for 50 million, 25 million, 2 million, depends on the needs of the school, and that with moratoriums to give you a chance to proceed.
The Central Bank of Kenya Governor Dr. Patrick Njoroge has overruled potential extension of suspension of Credit Reference Bureau CRB listing on loan defaulters as part of COVID-19 relief measures to cushion Kenyans. Addressing a virtual conference post-MPC report, Dr. Njoroge has said that all banks will resume normal business operations beginning October 1st. Njoroge has also noted that the Kenyan economy is transitioning quickly towards post-COVID-19 era. According to the governor, inflation remains subdued as it had been in the past few months.
In terms of the measures that are ending, that I think is clear. So from October 1, the banks will begin after the end of that period that we had said. They will then begin looking at the banks, at the borrowers, and assessing how they are doing in terms of their payments against their loans. And there is a process there. They will indicate, if let's say you haven't paid your loans, you have 60 days, they'll indicate that to you formally. I mean, so we are back again in the sort of rules, and then they'll give you 30 days. So you have 3 months to deal with, to regularize whatever you're not paying. But I think the point here is to just emphasize that, yes, we are going back to the normal operations, the way things used to happen, and that's where we will be come October 1. Basically, we are benefiting from the rather favorable weather conditions. Tea production has continued to record very strong growth and is projected to perform very well for the remainder of the year. We are expecting 594,000 metric tons, which compares to 459,000 metric tons in 2019, a growth of 29.4%.
All right, we have now come to the end of this live broadcast. Thank you so much for watching Hope TV News Watch. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time. I'm Tony Omondi, and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. Have a good night and God bless.